Hey there everyone and welcome to my channel. In front of me I have the brand new S.H.Figuarts Blanka from Street Fighter. This is a web exclusive that just came delivered to my home today. So I'm going to do a unboxing of this right now. So like I said, because it's a web exclusive, it comes in a brown shipper box like so. So let's get this open. I haven't taken the tape off or anything like that. Alright, so here's Blanka out of the brown shipper box. So I still haven't taken him out of his main box. So this is regular sort of aesthetic and kind of theme the Street Fighter figures go with. So we've got Blanka name there, the number 9, because he's number 9 in the Street Fighter figure series. And then you've got photograph of the figure. Of course, the nice beautiful looking window display where you can see the figure if you want to keep him mint in the box. Now he actually looks pretty good from just looking like at him here. I'm not a huge Blanka fan actually. I think that a lot of people aren't, just because of his gameplay style, but he's a really cool character. He's very iconic, you know. But here's a reverse side with more photographs, very similar to the previous figures in the lineup as well. A couple of photos with the other characters available. Sakura was number 8, so I did a video of her previously. So on the side you got number 9 Blanka and the Street Fighter 5 logo. This series doesn't always brand it itself as Street Fighter 5. Sometimes it's just plain Street Fighter, but this one is Street Fighter 5. So let's get him out of the box. Okay, so here's the Blanka figure out of the box. I played around with him a little bit, so I can give a little bit more of an opinion on him. So he comes with a few different things. So as with all S.H.Figuarts Street Fighter figures, they come with a backdrop piece which is split into 2, printed on fairly cheap cardboard. This is of his Street Fighter 5 stage, bananas not included. He comes with 1 extra pair of hands, which are the fists. Sadly, just this 1 pair. I would have preferred if he came with an additional pair. Let's focus that in. So these ones are lime green in color tone, similar to his body, and then with an eggshell sort of fingernails to them. I can see the veins on his the upper part of his hand too. Similarly for the other hand, like so. And then of course he comes with the open claw hands that's already attached to him. I wish, yeah, like I said, he came with an extra pair of hands. Then he comes with a bonus head, and this one is pretty cool looking. This is him with his mouth wide open, really great sculpt. Teeth are nice. The inner mouth is great. Eyes blue, bit of shading on the underside of the eyes with the ridges. But I really like this face sculpt. It looks really cool. It's Blanka, you know who it is, especially with the orange hair. That's pretty cool. I'll show you how to swap the faces momentarily. It comes with an effect part, which is a bit different from previous S.H.Figuarts figures. So this is kind of a base, but which I'll show you later. And it comes with, disappointingly actually, these effect pieces. So I say disappointingly because they're not solid sculpted plastic molded parts or anything like that, like our Mika had, or Ryu, Sakura, Ken, and the others. So he just comes with 2, which is Ryu and Chun-Li. And these are basically printed on transparent pieces of plastic. Now, it's not cheap plastic, as in, well, plastic is cheap, but you know, it's nice, fairly nice quality plastic. But I just wish that there was a bit more added to him. You know, you could potentially use Mika's base effect to get this, replicate that. But then, how else would you do something like this? So it's okay, but the other guys had better effect parts. There's actually some protective film on both of these, but I'm not going to take that off because I'm not going to use these too much, and I'd rather just, you know, keep these as is. But I guess the protective film is just kind of shown a little bit. You can see the lines here. It'll be just a clearer finish. That's about it. The instructions actually, funnily enough, say don't display in direct sunlight or these may warp, which is a point to heed. So those are the only effect parts that he comes with. I actually might as well show you how these attach. So the base is like so. There's just a slip and then slide it in, and there you go. That's how that works. Will they supply new ones? I do not know. But let's go to the figure. So this is the Blanka figure. Now I've posed him already. He doesn't actually come like that right out of the box, as you saw. So I've played with him a little bit, but let's take just a closer look at the figure itself. So let's extend his legs a little bit so you can see what this Blanka is all about. Now, apologies that he's quite zoomed in. I did have him crouched, so I'm going to have to bring him a little bit closer like so. So, here's his face. Neutral face with just the gritting teeth. This looks pretty good. I do prefer the other face, but this is still a good shout anyway. It's good. You know, could he have come with a third face? Yes, but this is good too. We're just talking about this face. Here's the same, and then it connects into three parts. So you got this part here, which is attached to the actual face, this secondary piece here, and then this bit, which you can say is the main. It's a bit of a soft plastic, so if I push it down a little bit and then up, you can see it does bend slightly. Don't push your limit though, because why would you want to? So that's that. You've got the chest here. Speaking of the chest, and then overall in the figure. So on the green, it's a bit textured, as you can see. It can occasionally slip in the hands, I've noticed, but I think it looks good. It adds a nice, cool effect to him. You'll notice there's quite a lack of shading on this guy overall throughout, and I think some other a previous S.H.Figuarts, I think Akuma may have been a culprit, where the shading was either non-existent for the most part or just not that great. I don't mind so much, but it could be a little bit better. I mean, the sculpt is great. I mean, his abs, chest, muscle, all the muscles and definition and everything look amazing. I mean, even his calves, you can see the veins coming from his calves, from his upper arm, biceps. He's got big guns, big shoulders. I mean, it's really good sculpt wise. Shading could be a little bit better, just on the skin tone side of things. He's got the hair then across on his forearms, and then of course on his calves too, on his shins. This actually overall look of the figure, I'm going to sit him down because he's a bit tall. The overall look of this figure is based more on the classic Blanka look that ends up being used in Street Fighter 5. So even though the box says it's Street Fighter 5, this is not how he looks like in Street Fighter 5. He's much more, this is a more clean look, and again more classic look. In Street Fighter 5 he's more vicious looking. He's much more hairier. He's got hair like everywhere, bigger chest hair, much more spread out, arm hair and shin hair, and his shorts are a different color I think as well. So he's just a very, very different looking kind of beast in Street Fighter 5. So it's a bit weird that they branded Street Fighter 5 but then roll with Street Fighter 2 basically. Even the color shorts colored, and the anklets are pretty much of a classic look. Why they did that, I don't know. It's not a very consistent line, but there you have it. I haven't talked about articulation, so let's go ahead and do that. So he's already bent down, just because so I can fit him in. There might be occasions where his head flies off. I'll kind of speak about that if it does happen. If not, I'll try and remember to record that. So moving down his head, like so, is a good amount. You might get a little bit of a gap there. It's actually, his face is attached on a very, very small shafted joint. I'll show you that because I'm going to change the face. It can be a little bit worrying. It's been okay for me so far, but a little bit worrying either way. You can tilt his head left and right, and then look side to side. He's got the neck joint there, which I showed you, which helps him. And there we go. Because I pulled it too far, his face comes off. And here's a good chance to show you that joint. It's a very, very tiny cylinder piece here. Very thin, very thin. I haven't really experienced that in the past. Getting his head back on can be a little bit tricky. So I'll try that now. It looks like it's on. Okay, so let's be gentle with that. Right, so his shoulder then. So his shoulder actually comes forward from the blades there, and I think that looks pretty good. Sometimes it can be hit or miss with certain figures and certain manufacturers how these butterfly joints work, but with Blanka, something about them, I don't know, it looks satisfying, and I enjoy the way that he kind of brings his arm across. So here we go, he can meet his hand and actually cross them over pretty easily, like so. Then he can bring his shoulders up and around, upwards, but they do get stuck. He's got big shoulders, big guns. Guy's a beast, literally speaking. No twist on the upper part. I guess it would have ruined the kind of definition and body sculpt. Like I said, his guns look amazing. His arms are pretty cool. He's got a bit of a twist at the elbow. I haven't pushed it to its like I don't want to push it further than this because I'm worried it will just break. So I'm not going to do that. Again, because of his big guns, his elbows only bend about that much. Then onto the wrists, of course they twist, and then up and down. Now, if it's anything like the Ryu one or Ken, if you do this too much or the joint kind of gets loose, it kind of snaps off very easily. It doesn't even snap, it just falls off. So hopefully that doesn't happen in time with this guy, because it's a bit of an annoying thing when it does with the others. Torso then, he can't bend down. Oh no, he can bend down actually quite a good amount, because of course he needs to go into his cannonball move. So he can bend down quite a good amount. The hair isn't actually what's stopping him, it's just the inside joint, that's the limit. Well, it's more hair actually, the ribs. Bending backwards though, to be honest, not a lot. His back muscles stop him from doing that. Side to side, again, not a lot, but not a lot from the top part. It's more down to the hips. So it's okay, but could be better. Twisting is not that big from the top, and the bottom doesn't seem to be that good either. It seems to be led all the way from the top, and I can see from here it doesn't seem to do much. There we go. It's about the same from the bottom to the top, like so. Got a bit more there. Okay, I'm loosening up, so potentially you can get a bit more out of it should you loosen it up. Then down then to his leg, so you can kick his leg up, but it does drop down a bit. There you go, for a bit more, and then you can bring his leg sideways like so, twisting it there. His knee bends that far before it hits his shorts. And then for the ankle, his anklets are loose, by the way, so you can just move those around. His ankle has everything that you need. Because actually, by the way, he's a bit of a heavy figure, I think he might have some die-cast elements in him, particularly at the joints. So the ankle looks like it, or some sort of metal, you can see right there. And maybe at the knee, because it feels a little bit cold to the touch in certain places. But maybe it's in Japanese on the instructions, but it doesn't say. Usually it would tell you such a thing is happening. And I feel, yeah, that's what's happening with this guy. So that's pretty much his articulation. He does have a little bit extra actually on the hair, which can move like so. His hair, the main part, actually can come off quite easily. And I'll kind of show that with you to you now. So if I want him to look up more than say that, it will fall off. So I think there. No, it hasn't actually done it. But it can happen, weirdly. Okay, so he can actually look up a lot more than I thought, because every time I've tried this before, his hair actually falls off. So I guess we got lucky this time around. But just to kind of show you how easy it comes off there, you can kind of have a sense of that, hopefully. That was pretty easy to take off. It's easy to put back on too, but it's a bit on the loose side. And I feel like all of a sudden, in this video, it's trying to prove me wrong. But trust me, when I was playing with this figure, that came off a little bit easily. Maybe it might not happen with your one. Who knows? What else? That covers his articulation, I believe. If I've missed anything, apologies for that. So yeah, overall figure looks pretty solid. I like it. He's got the anklets too, like I mentioned. They're loose. Yeah, I like it. Would it have been better if they did Street Fighter 5 where it's more vicious looking? Yeah, I think so. I would have preferred that because it's a different kind of take on Blanka. We've got classic Blanka many times before in the past from different manufacturers. Let's change the face then. So that one, okay, I've taken the mane off here. One or the other might come off first, but hey, that came off first. Let's pull off the face from the joint like we did before and put on the alternate face. You can choose which order you want to do this in. I'll do this in this order for now. It doesn't always work in the order that you might want to do it in, but let's try it. What you gotta do then, by the way, is just get the hairpiece, line it up with the 2 square holes, and hope it goes in. I've had a bit of trouble with this before, but let's see. As you do it though, you'll see and feel the hair joint kind of bend and move. It's not a huge issue, but just keep in mind that you don't try and do it too much so you're not wrecking the figure, the hair instead. This is what I mean. Yeah, it comes off quite easily, so you might just want to take this off and then put that on at the very end. So there we go. His face has now been swapped into this very cool alternate face. Then let's change his hand by pulling it off. Could be a bit tight. I find a lot of the S.H.Figuarts joints are a little bit tight, and yeah, just tight socket in the beginning. And then get the other hand and then, yep, try and force it in. As I said, it's a bit tight, but it looks like it's in there. There we go, hand motion there. So that's it. That's how you change Blanka's hand and face. There isn't a lot more to actually talk about with parts because it doesn't come with any more than that. I didn't go onto his height. His height, he stands roughly, when I say stands, I mean pretty much fully extended, minus the legs being that way, but fully extended is about 17 centimeters. Against Ryu, Ryu was 15 centimeters. So hopefully I can demonstrate that. Here, let me pull the camera up a little bit so you can kind of see. Now, I'm just going to pull the camera up and then stand them up. So it's not the best angle for you, but you can see that, I mean, Blanka is definitely bigger than Ryu, and that's how it should be. I can bring out Sakura too, and yeah, he towers. Stay back, Blanka. He towers over Sakura. Sakura's a very, very tiny girl, really, and very petite compared to the hench tonk Blanka. But I think he looks pretty good. Overall, I think he is a good figure. He is a web exclusive, so he costs a bit more. Could they have done a bit better in terms of shading? I do think so, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Could they have done the actual Street Fighter V version of Blanka? Definitely, in my opinion. It's just a slightly different version of the way he looks normally, and why not, right? Let's just be a bit more consistent with what we're saying. If it's Street Fighter V, that's the way he looks in Street Fighter V. Let's go with that one then. This is just his classic look, everyone knows. So it's a safe bet, really. So I can understand why they did it too. If you like Blanka, there's probably one of you out there. Not kidding. If you like Blanka, then definitely, think about getting this figure. I mean, you might be collecting the other the other Street Fighter figures from Storm Collectibles, but I myself have just decided just to stick with the SHF figures because I want to keep it consistent, and yeah, I just prefer the way they look in general, and the pricing and everything. All of that I just prefer with SHF. So it's up to you which one, which brand you want to go with, but I can't recall them doing a Blanka just yet for Storm Collectibles, whereas SHF have now done a Blanka. So he is a web exclusive, so if he does sell out, you are going to end up missing out and then end up paying higher prices. I got mine from Nippon Yasan for just over 9,000 yen, which included shipping. You can still, I believe, get him for around that price from most places. I guess if you're in the US, then you might want to check out Big Bad Toy Store or Amazon.com for your one, but it will end up being the local price in dollars. And then before this, there was also Sakura, which I've covered. I've covered every other Street Fighter figure from the SHF Street Fighter lineup. Where this one ranks, I think for me, just at this point in time, hard to say. It's actually hard to say. I actually think I like this one quite a bit because it's a bit different. I mean, I'm not a huge Blanka fan, but I like this figure. I think he's quite cool. He seems a bit fun to play with. I mean, I did call out some points like that, but it didn't really show up too much in this video, but it does occur at times. But I would say, yeah, he's probably a top 3, maybe top 4 of the SHF. Sakura is probably one of my favorites, actually. I really like the Sakura one. They've done a great job with her. So yeah, if you're a big Blanka fan, try and get him. Do check out my channel for more Street Fighter SHF videos, more videos on other toys and toy brands. In the meantime, stay safe, whatever it is, wherever you are. Catch you next time. Peace.